Hey guys, Montel here. Look, you know what? I should have done this several days ago and I didn't. And I didn't do a video because I thought that myself, I've been watching a lot of the videos and watching a lot of what's being streamed on TV and on the internet and been listening to people who have had just incredibly poignant things to say and thought that there would be more people listening. But then now after 8 days and seeing that this is continuing to escalate into just violence after violence after violence. Last night I saw a police officer run over by a car. Come on. I saw another police officer struck in the head and go down, struck by something. I don't even know what he was struck by. As if that individual is the individual we need to be taking all of our anger out against. Wrong. This has been a tough time, a tough week to look at what's happening to our country. A couple of days ago, someone very, very close to me was participating in a peaceful protest in Los Angeles. They were not looting, they were not damaging property, they were not setting fire, they weren't stealing. They were just standing in a line confronting police, but screaming, no justice, no peace, and talking about the George Floyd injustice. And at the moment, this close person to me literally asked the police officer, where do you want us to be? Where do you want me to move? I'm going to tell you that they were not rioting, they were not looting, they were not damaging any property. They were just standing in a line of people very close to a police line and asked the question, where do you want us to go? And after asking that question a second time, the police officer leveled his gun at her and shot her at point blank range with a rubber bullet. This person will now bear the scar from that rubber bullet because it broke the skin. She will carry that scar with her now for the rest of her life. But it's the emotional scar that I'm more concerned about, because it left her with the question, why? What did I do wrong? All I was doing was asking you, where do you want me to be? And you reacted so violently. I've lost sleep over that now for the last 2 days, the same way that I lost sleep last night when I witnessed the President of the United States call for and push for violence just so that he could go and have a photo op in front of a church to see if he could make his base believe that in his heart he felt the guidance of a being and a force much greater than himself. But when we realized that all he did was desecrate that force that was bigger than him, by holding a Bible and giving the impression that he supports the words within, makes us understand that maybe he doesn't even know what's in that Bible. It answers the question that a lot of people have had from day one. And that question is, do we really have leadership that cares about the people they're leading? Or do we have a leader that just cares about being in charge? It's a sad commentary. But at the same time, we give license to that commentary by looting, by vandalizing, by being violent in our protest of injustice. It gives an excuse, and in some circles gives a valid reason to this person to act as violently as he wants to act. Stoking the flames of division as we get closer to an election, wishing that the divide gets deeper so that the solidity of the base is strong and supports the belief that we do better divided than we do united. We know for a fact that's not true. It took this entire nation, every nationality, every creed, every color, every sexual orientation, to build the nation that we live in today. And it's going to take this entire population to build what will come tomorrow. It's a sad commentary when we have to think that there are so many people out there who support the idea and notion that by coming down violently on the heads of those who don't agree and just lump them in with everybody, it's okay. It's not okay. You know, we wonder why George Floyd was lynched in the streets of Minnesota 8 days ago. We shouldn't wonder. Since the Civil War, there's been well over 4,300 people, men, women, and children, lynched in America, lynched all the way through the 1960s. As a matter of fact, so many lynchings that we've even identified an era of lynching in America that will now reside in history books forever. As a matter of fact, we know that there's been over 200 bills passed by Congress and Senate, or at least proposed by the Congress and the Senate, to call lynching a hate crime. And all of them have failed. This is since 1918. We currently have a bill sitting on the president's desk that finally was passed in a bipartisan way. Even though 40 senators voted against it, it was passed in a bipartisan way. It's sitting on the president's desk right now, calling for lynching to be called a hate crime. And this president has refused to sign it because he doesn't believe that lynching is a hate crime, which makes you wonder whether or not he believes that lynching is okay. He supposedly discussed his disgust with the video he saw, like the rest of the world saw, of George Floyd being lynched in the street in Minnesota. He supposedly said, this is egregiously a bad example, a bad video. Yet at the same time refuses to sign a bill on his desk that calls lynching a hate crime. Makes you wonder. Look, folks, we're living in a time where we have to remember, when you look at the crowds that are out there protesting, they're good people of every nationality, race, color, and creed in America today protesting and asking for justice. We should all stand with them and support them in their protest, and support them when they're being falsely maimed and hurt and violated by the police just because of their opinion. We should make sure that they understand that we support them, the voices of dissent, but we don't support those who are trying to perpetuate violence. I call upon and ask those protesters that while you're shooting videos of all of what you consider to be hateful and violence perpetrated against you by the police, turn those videos around and aim those cameras at those people that are breaking into and looting and stealing and using this as an opportunity to hijack the good work you're doing, and make sure that we see those videos so people understand that it's not the protesters who are out there being violent. It's people who are intent upon digging a deeper divide in America today. I pray for those protesters. I pray that they are heard. I pray that they have a right to speak. And I pray as a nation, we give them that right. The right to safely commune to get their point across. Stay well.